like to do some work on, so, I wanna do, Youngs Ridge, obviously, that's a busy one. Do, Sanborn Road. There ain't a lot of work to do on that one right now.
On hard copy.
Hopper Road,
Hopper Road's a good one.
East Shore Drive. You got the Buzzell Road, did I mention that one yet?
No,
Well, Young's Ridge.
Well, Buzzell Road itself.
Oh,
isn't that the turnaround also there? Is that part of the turnaround on Buzzell? Is that part of it also?
Yeah, for the winter time, yeah.
Oh, he's-
You have an issue down there with the turnaround?
Wow, I mean, it's.
Pretty much don't have one, yeah, yeah.
On that section, I mean, if we chose to just turn around at the
now last,
bus turning around, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be an issue, but there is a short section there.
Yeah, there's
well,
probably like.
don't you have
a
to
couple
turn around in someo's pit or something? I remember you
No,
talking.
no, that's bumping it out, but it's in someone else's yard now.
Oh.
The first house, the first trail, the first house on the right. Well, second, actually second house.
Yeah, it goes down over the hill like 150 feet down the hill, and the town stops right there, and then continues on to Buzzell Road. Well, that Lakeside Drive, is that Buzzell Road?
No, it's Buzzell all the way down
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Lakeside.
but it turns private there, about 150 feet down at, past the intersection. But, so I gave you, Sanborn Road, Buzzell Road, Youngs Ridge Road, Hopper Road, and East Shore Drive.
Yeah. Now, last, when we did them 3 years ago, we did County Road. You don't want to include that?
County Road, what I did is I looked at my busier roads.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I threw a couple in there that are gonna be needing a lot of work.
Okay,
So I figured those would be the ones to, start off with.
all right. And did you have, like Scott's got the turnaround concerns, Willow Street, Hawk Road, Dandy Road, Buzzell Road, did you have any turnaround concerns anywhere?
I've got one turnaround concern up on, Peck Road. When you go up on Peck Road, it's tar, then it turns to dirt for a
Yeah.
small section. And what we've been doing is we turn around in, Sovrel's driveway. And when we can't turn around there, when you go in with a big truck, it's pretty tough. And we end up backing up to, I think it's Ed Hammond's old driveway and into there and back and doing that. We've got permission and all that, but at some point, it would be nice if we can get some sort of easement there. And what I wanna do is I wanna just continue Peck Road out a little further, that way we have a place to swing into. And it is, I don't know, I believe the town's, Peck Road used to be a town road many, many moons ago, but, kinda like the old stagecoach roads and stuff like that, so we may
Yeah.
already have an easement on that road, but something to look into.
Okay.
That's, right now, I think that's really the only one I really got a big concern on, right now, that I can come up top of my head.
And what about mailboxes? Any roads with mailbox concerns?
I mean, East Shore's tight, but, I mean, we've dealt with them.
I check with the post office.
Problem with East Shore is you got mailboxes and fences and a whole bunch of other stuff that you can worry about too, so, right now, I don't have too many concerns on mailboxes,
Just East Shore,
just East Shore, but.
all right.
Dick has checked with the post office.
I talked with the postmaster, and essentially right now, it'd be a mute problem. There's two problems. One, it takes 15 residents on the road with a petition, and then it got to go before a committee, and then postal people come down and look it over and whatnot and everything. The second problem is that there's no money. With the money problems that, has, the post office, there's no way, right now, so as I say. So, I told them what we were thinking about doing, and, that the road commissioners felt there was a problem, and maybe it would help on some of the narrow roads, to have the cluster boxes, and, but he seemed to indicate that it has to come from the people that live on the road, and it needs a minimum of 15 signatures on the petition.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah, we've dealt with them so far, so, I mean, we just keep dealing with them.
It's just something in the road, you know, something down the road that's, and if the postal people would eventually come up with it or something, or maybe some policy down the road for any more roads that we accept or anything like that. There might be something that might be put into a policy of accepting roads for acceptance, if it, you know, definitely needs cluster boxes or mailboxes or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And on my 5 roads, I mean, I did put Sandpage/Mason, just because that is the main drag.
People turning, yeah.
They turn, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
by half and half, so they do.
Yeah.
They do cut through there, that's the main drag through that section.
Okay, well, on to the RSMS. This is essentially your road inventory that the auditors, I guess, require, but it also requires upkeep. And I spoke to Jennifer, and I think you have too, that she's looked at the system. I think she's downloaded it onto her computer, and she had some reservations, because if we put this in, first, it would be a cost, we'd have to figure that out. And second, then it would have to be updated as work was done, or we lose the whole thing. And I'm hoping she could come here tonight and explain, you know, what she did with them.
Does she know that you're hoping that?
Yeah, I spoke to her a couple of days ago.
I'll go check with her.
Yeah, I talked to her on Tuesday and asked if she could,
Well, I was doing some thought on the RMS system there, and I think have you gotten a hold of the gentleman there that may come down?
Jennifer did.
She did.
Yeah, she did.
Okay. You got a date on that?
No, because we can't do the road inventory until the snow is gone and the roads
Yeah.
thaw out, and they won't start classes again until that time.
Okay.
So, you
Well,
know,
I
it's
mean-
gonna be a spring project if we do it.
My concern is before we get too involved into this, until we actually absolutely know what we're getting into,
Exactly.
be kind of nice to, you know, do some classes. I mean, I'd hate to have, you know, you guys on the road committee go out and start doing these road surveys, and then, oh, well, we didn't do this right, or this needed to be done. I don't want to waste you guys' time, you know?
No,
Not
we've
saying
already
won't be
done it once.
wasted, you know, I know that, yeah. We don't want to do that again.
I forget some of
No.
some of the terms for stuff, but
I know, but
it'll all come back.
we'd learn it
Yeah,
easily.
yeah, it'll come back.
But the other thing is, we weren't eligible for FEMA money, because we couldn't, some FEMA monies, because we can't document how much money we've spent on particular roads. And FEMA has a program called Road Tracker. Last time we talked to DOT, they were going to, which was a couple of years ago that I did, they were going to check with Road Tracker, with the FEMA, and see if the two could blend. And it would be something that, I mean, they want you to go back sometimes 5 years, and we have no way of going back to see what we've done at this point.
On certain projects, I'm sure, you know, there's records of it, but, I mean, the little stuff here and there probably.
Yeah, but if you wanted to look up H Road, how much have you spent on this section of the road in the past 5 years? We don't have a way of finding that, of knowing that.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. Oh, right in your head.
Yeah. I mean, like the San Pedro, that was a special project, that was an easy one, you know, you've
Yeah.
got, you know, a one-year project that, you know, it came up with an exact number, so you have a pretty good idea on something like that there. But, I just, didn't know.
And then if it
when.
were on the computer, in 10 years, we'd have it too.
Yeah, definitely,
Program.
definitely. Yeah, what I'm saying is without having taken the class and knowing exactly what it consists of and what they want from us, what details they want from us, you know? That was the only concern I had.
Yeah.
is I just wanted to make sure that,
that's what they did. I think we were here, what, 3-4 hours? Was 3-4
It was
hours?
a 3 or 4 hour class.
And, you know,
yeah.
he more or less
Scott, you were here.
explained to us what, you know, like alligator versus, I can't remember some of the terms, but
well, I know there was some changes to
Yeah.
the program, wasn't there?
Yeah, the
they
program
came out
changed.
with a newer program,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm hoping that they've blended it with the road tracker, and the two will work together. But what we need is a very easy form for you guys when you do the work, so that we're not piling work on you or your family or anybody else, and that it also gets processed right here in the town hall.
Jennifer will be in just a couple minutes.
Oh, good. I think the only other thing we have really...
Well, I had these,
Oh, that's right. yeah.
the drainage easements. I'll give you one for your records. I only made up 5 of these, so.
Okay.
But I have it on my computer, it's on a floppy, and, you know, I can change, you know, if you've got a drainage easement, yeah, you can have that one. You know, or even, you know, I'm sure the town, you must have an account at the Registry of Deeds.
Oh, yes.
Because what I was gonna say is, with this, the only thing that needs right now is the name of the people. He's got one, I guess, on Youngs Ridge Road, but I can go back and change the road, you know, on what I have at home. But this one here, all you need in there now, is a legal description of the property.
That's the,
This is the family, okay, yeah,
that's pretty much,
okay. So that would have to be actually changed, because I've got Acton,
yeah,
you know, in other words, so you know, they'd be Stone and Mass
yeah.
property owners. And then all they have to do is, well, can I have this, or do you wanna?
Probably get a photocopy of that.
Because I was gonna say, I'll change the wording,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah, just
change
take
it,
it with
put-
you, I'll get it off you next meeting.
yeah. Oh, can you make a copy of this for me?
Copy that too, so you.
Yeah, I've got, by the way, I have legal paper at home, I've got a whole thing, yeah.
To catch up on speed.
But that's what we used,
Looking at doing a culvert up on Youngs Ridge there, and there's not one there now, and I'm trying to go through the right
Yeah, definitely.
procedures there.
Got that there and pitches and everything else.
Yeah.
Because The next thing you know, we have a rainstorm or something and, oh, let's never flooded, or all of a sudden you got somebody knocking on the door saying they got water in the
Yeah.
cellar. You know,
Yeah.
you go back and say, hey, you know.
Yeah, we had to do it on 13th Street. I didn't know you had to do it on town ways, but I know state of Maine now, before you do any ditching or anything on a private road, you gotta have a drainage easement. No, otherwise they can come back on you.
Existing, and to a point, it depends
Yeah.
on how.
I looked for a culvert there, I was hoping to find one, I couldn't find
It
it.
might be buried, some of them
thought
are
I was hoping it was
completely
buried
full.
in
It's a good policy and it's good insurance just to cover everybody.
Exactly.
I met with the
yeah.
homeowner already and walked it and this and that, and I met with the York County Soil Conservation and Chris from DEP, you know, to make sure everything was cool before I went to the homeowner. I didn't wanna go alarm him and then turn around and them say, no, it's not a good idea, so,
Is that Chris Copey?
yes.
I gotta call him.
Now, Cindy, you mentioned before, did you guys ever find all the widths of the roads and all that stuff?
Did we find them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did when we did the inventory previously, but we don't have that information any longer, so we have to recreate it if we intend to
Thank
do
you.
this program.
Well, is this what you're looking for? Oh, I have. Steps.
That'd be good.
I hope so. Let's see, I'll get in there, right. Is that what you're looking for? Those are all the streets that you guys had measured?
Yep, we had, this isn't,
And
yeah.
comments?
Those are
This
the
is
ones.
not the one that we did.
See, this is
This is the
I
one
got the
prior
same
to us.
thing.
Yeah,
You
we've
know what
got a
this
couple
is?
of them in here.
That's when I did the counters.
Okay.
That was the
That was-
information from the counters
Yeah.
for the
No,
10
these are,
roads.
geez, I'd like copies
Yeah, okay.
of this, just so that we have them.
Yeah, and that, I think that was yours.
That's,
that we-
yes, that was
your
mine,
one.
that was the
Yeah,
identification. Can I borrow this? And
Yeah,
I'll-
yeah, actually,
I'll copy whatever we,
yeah. 'Cause that was
Good
all
one.
part of,
excellent, thank you,
So-
David.
Dave, when do you need those drainage easements?
It's not gonna be till spring anyways, so it's,
Oh, all right, okay, so next meeting, I
Yeah.
can bring it, yeah, whenever that.
we don't wanna be digging across sand roads right now.
No.
I don't think Scott liked me a whole lot.
Oh, Jennifer, would you like to share what Jerry Douglas and you discussed? And I know we've talked about it, you've talked about it in the office too.
The selectmen and members of the road committee have been talking about a program that is basically, it's a Windows-based program that we can use and install on the town software and town's computers to help maintain some of the programs and some of the road inventory. As you know, this is the program that they had started before and got all the information into and just basically trying to rebuild it. So with the board's permission, I spoke to the individual from the state that sells the program and maintains it, and we were able to download a program onto the town C drive so that we could practice with it, kind of play with it and see what exactly it had to offer. We've only spent a little bit of time on it, but basically it will allow you to maintain everything from your inventory of the roads, ranging from what type of drainage they might have to their widths and lengths and where your culverts are, anything that you can imagine on each individual road would go into the system. It would also allow you to track budgetary issues and money that you might put into them, paving things. It's going to allow you to run a variety of different reports, depending on what you're looking for. So this particular program can be, because of where it's stored on the town's computer, it just has to be something that's entered into the first time. We'd be backing it up on the town's hard drive and our nightly backup, so the problem that you had in the past would not happen again. The way that we left it 2 weeks ago when we had the conversation was there's a one-time $50 fee once we input 10 more roads. After that, that's the only cost that was short of the time that the employee would be entering it in. So the board was going to have further conversations about job descriptions and where we could possibly, put this onto somebody somewhere and start building a database again.
Thanks, Jen.
Welcome.
And that's where, we took over as a board, and after talking about it, we wanted confirmation from the road commissioners that this was a program that they're interested in and that they're interested in continuing with, and I think we have that confirmation from both road commissioners that that is of interest. And so now that we understand, now that our board knows that, we know that the cost is minimal,
Somebody's,
we know that we have the support of the road commissioners and that they are going to want to continue forward with this. Now we can kind of step back and say, okay, where within our town do we have someone who can do this work? Because it was decided we didn't want it to be a volunteer, because we don't want it to be somebody that's rotating, really. And we didn't want it to be also volunteer, because we don't really want volunteers coming into the town computer system and mistakenly straying into some place where somebody's taxes are suddenly increased or deleted or so forth. So we will take care of that within the next couple of weeks, figuring out where that we have that support, that yes, the road commissioners want to see this program implemented, they want to continue with it. We can be charged now with where in the town hall can that happen. And we can get back to you about how that's going to work. But that shouldn't prohibit you from starting your work if now's a good time for you to start inventorying, which I don't think it is.
Not until we thaw.
And actually, to add to that, the only benefit to possibly having all of our ducks in a row first before they start doing that is because the individual is going to come down and do a training. So we're going to want to make sure, we almost need that complete training so that I can create a form and say to the road committee, I need, A through Z on every road when we would go out, because we don't want them going out until we learn the program. I don't know everything they can do. I've only looked at it a few times. So we want to create a master sheet for you guys. So as you go out on a particular road, you can fill in all the blanks, then come back and we'll input it. So it's just a matter, once they make a decision so that we know who to train, we can get the gentleman down here. And then we can create a database, some sort of sheet for you guys that you can either do on the laptop, fill in, or, paper copies. And then when you go out, you'll know what we need you to bring back for info.
I'm glad you added that. I think that I would like to actually kind of make a deadline for our board to act, because I think that with most government organizations, deadlines actually are fairly effective tools to get things done. So how about our board figures out what they want to do as far as in-house maintenance and stuff by the end of February, so that we can have that training take place within March, beginning of April at the latest, so that as soon as those roads are clear, end of April, you guys can get out and start doing what it is that you need to be doing with the intent to have it done. If I'm correct, you wanted to use the counters again, and we want to use the counters pre-summer people and post-summer people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need to get those counters down in May at the latest to make sure that we're counting prior to the summer influx, and then again in July. So if the timetable is Select Board does their thing by the end of February, who in the town of Acton staff is going to take care of the data input and cement that? Then we can get the guy down here from the state to do the training, which I'm assuming the road commissioners would be invited to attend as well, as the road committee members, as well as the staff person within the town hall, and then we can move on from there. So a timetable, I think, works well.
Oh, I think that's great.
Okay.
Yep. Good. Good, thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
The only other thing I can think that we have is the Canal Bridge project, which is, I know you're aware of it, Larissa, and Jack and we've been to 2 meetings on it so far. This had come up about 5 years ago, when we were first on the committee, and Dave Cody was chairman. And then the bridge, the weight limit on it was dropped because of the damage that was being done. We can't put fire trucks over it now. The town of Wakefield is interested. We are interested in doing this. It's a great educational project. Several people in town have agreed to go on the committee with us. What we need is an Acton committee, and then 3 people to be on the steering committee with the 2 towns. Linda Shire, who's with AWA, is the secretary, and she will manage that. I'm assuming, and we're going to have to bring in many different fingers to this. There'll be a grant situation initially to look at design. The town and the road commissioners need to look at use in the future, which is one thing that we talked about.
yeah.
They want to know, before you can do a design, how you expect this road to be used in the future. How many cars do you think are going to be going over it? Now it's the throughway around the lake there, and we have a lot of traffic on it. But the town also has an interest because back before you were here, Larissa, I know that the state was interested in getting rid of the boat launch and donating it to the town, or however they do that. Now, this is part of that whole site. And with AWA, they're talking about walking trails and an educational kiosk. And this is really a big project, and way, beyond, it's beyond the scope of the road committee. We're happy to help in any way we possibly can, but we need to pull in other people. Tom Gore has agreed to help us. He's an engineer, and he knows a lot of history on the town. We've contacted the Conservation Committee. I'm hopeful that they will have somebody that would be interested. Mary Waterhouse knows how to do grants. And this is what we're going to be, we're hopefully we're not going to spend money on this. And we're hearing on the news about these infrastructure bills coming up both in the state and federal, and it would be a tiny thing on a federal. We're looking for an earmark, I believe, a federal earmark.
You're looking for crumbs, I believe you mentioned.
Crumbs.
Before. Crumbs from a larger project.
Yes, yeah.
Is that something that the road commissioners are interested in pursuing?
Well, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Then this is, so Cindy, are you asking for something from our board, or?
Well, we're going to, these guys hadn't heard about this yet.
Okay.
That's why I brought it up. We're going to your meeting later to ask for your official blessing for us to pursue it and have another meeting. And we need a group in Acton to appoint the 3 on the steering committee. We can't appoint ourselves, obviously.
I understood, so the board would need to do that, okay.
Yeah.
Can we, may I jump the gun and put myself, I wanted to speak briefly, can I do that now?
Oh, do it.
Sure.
Okay, because it kind of ties in. And this is meant very respectfully, I want to preface that, which should put you all on guard. If you'll remember a couple of years ago, the select board made a very clear point of saying that the road committee by ordinance was to do the work of the road commissioners as asked. And one of the things that I'm here tonight charged with by my board, okay, I'm a representative, is that we just want to make sure that that flow is still being maintained, okay? So the road commissioners, as elected officials by the town body, okay, the road committee, also elected officials, have been elected to be an advisory committee and helpful to the road commissioners as the road commissioners see fit. So, for instance, with the Canal Bridge project, okay? That's amazing, and I'm so thankful that you've taken the initiative to go ahead and find these people that would be willing to do that. Officially, I think what my board would like to see happen is the road commissioners come forward and say, we'd like to see this project take place, we'd like to see a steering committee being formed, and aren't we so lucky to have a road committee that has seen the wisdom of this and is helping us make that happen? Do you see that that's a little,
Well-
I know it's picayune, and I know that it's splitting hairs, but I have been asked to make that distinction, like, can the road commissioners request that the road committee pursue this project? Does that make sense? You see where I'm
Well,
coming from?
seeing that section of the road and that bridge is obviously something to do with myself, being the road commissioner on that end of town. You know, I believe it does have something to do with the road committee. I don't believe we really have to go be outside the road committee and make another committee up to do that. I believe the road committee worked on that years ago, but
We collected material for it, but it's a
Yeah.
much larger
Yeah.
project. This is hundreds of
See,
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
This is not, I mean, I think it's above us,
Yeah.
above our pay grade. And we need somebody with a real history of the town. And for the selectmen's part, I mean, this came back to us because we had originally started on it with Dave Cody
Yeah.
as a road committee. And then everything dropped and things changed. And then just recently, Nancy Rumor ran into Pam Judge
Yeah.
in Wakefield, and Pam said, boy, we're interested in getting this going again. And Nancy said, well, call Cindy Hart. So that's how it happened.
I understand that.
And
I
we
do
went to the
understand.
meeting, and the whole thing is, I think, by getting those people involved, they know the people to contact,
Yes.
that possibly, you know, we could get some funding, because I guess it's, you know, the thing was built before the Civil War.
It's a
And
historic bridge.
so there may be funds somewhere that if you get in touch with the right people, you know, you get the money to repair it, you know, well, I guess it would have to be, it's gonna have to be completely,
Well, it's an interstate
Yeah.
project. That's
Yeah.
why it's beyond us.
Yeah.
And it will probably be AWA that may be the one heading it up.
Okay, so I love that you also brought the conservation committee in on that. That's exactly kind of the role that they're supposed to play. It involves historical issues, it involves natural resources issues. It's the conservation committee written all over it, so that's great. Having a road commissioner sort of, and I don't want to use the word blessing, but if you will, like a road commissioner, saying, yes, that's in my district, I'd like to see this project pursued, and giving
definitely.
the card to the road committee and saying, yes, can you guys help me out with this as a road commissioner and go with it, that's great. And that's kind of what we were hoping to see. And I have actually had people call me about road issues and be like, I think you need to talk to Cindy Hart. When people have a road question, very often Cindy comes to mind, and we do tend to funnel them our way if it's a historical road issue. So I understand how that process happened, and I'm really glad that it did, because it's getting the ball rolling. My job this evening is just to gently remind the process that we had asked to take place a couple years ago of making sure that the road commissioners are involved from the very beginning with what they'd like to see the road committee working on. Does that make sense? So, and that seems to be happening, so that's great. So I'm just, I think the canal project sounds great. If you guys figure out how you want our board to help with that, as far as appointing a steering committee, if that's what's needed, if you want me to talk to Linda Shire and see how she would like to have that progress from here, I have a nice working relationship with Linda, I'd be happy to do that.
Excellent.
But now that we have the official sort of, yes, please go forward with that we have just received, we can do so without risking upset.
now what you're proposing is actually another committee.
I'm proposing another committee
Yeah.
the last meeting that we went to, Wakefield had obviously had a meeting prior to it.
yeah.
Now,
And I want to be sure that our interests are right there too. And-
what I would ask from you guys then, seeing it's, I've got a lot to do with that, I would like to be part of that committee.
Oh, this is,
Well, yeah.
the door is so
I
open.
want to stay up on it,
Absolutely.
Being a tri-state bridge on that, and our biggest concern from the fire department aspect is that is such an artery for us. Whether Wakefield's coming over for us from mutual aid, we've got some very big buildings on that lake, and everybody's got to go around. So I think we might be able to find hopefully find some funding through New Hampshire and the state of Maine. I think we need to get hold of our congressman, we need to go to the
That's
state
what it
level.
is.
That's where we're trying to get the right
But
people.
I think we need to sit down with the fire department, the EMA, and, and if we can actually show these, and that's where these states are going, we need to show them a cause.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just not, well, we wish we'd get this done.
Yeah.
you know, I think we have a good chance, but we need to really do the homework and have somebody, like you said, another committee to go over to New Hampshire, and
Yeah.
then, right from the start, that'd have to be, you know, we say that that canal is a state line. Who knows, you get that surveyed out, that may all be in the town of Acton, you know,
I was just talking to the,
right?
well, the
That's a state
road
line.
agent in
We
Milton,
may
and
know.
they've got an issue over there right now, pretty much where we could be if we don't get working on something like this. Right now, the bridge between Milton and Lebanon, over off, I forget what the name of the road is, go over the water anyways, right
I
there.
know where it is,
You-
yeah.
By the campground,
Yeah.
that bridge is closed down.
Yep,
They can't cross that bridge right now, and they got a price of $1 million or $2 million or something like that, he told me, and there's no funds. It was something that just came upon, and now they're stuck with something that, now what do you do? Yes, it'd be a good idea to hit it in the bud before you get to it, you know, before we have a problem.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely, we would like the fire department, that was on the list, to get the fire
Yeah.
department involved. And,
The weight limit on the bridge right now might be a little lower than it should be. You know, I don't believe that emergency vehicles, from from the engineers and stuff like that, you know,
Did you
I think
see
it's more
the
of a
picture?
precaution. Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
I
Oh,
don't know, I
yeah.
don't know if
On
I
the
wanna take
Keystone
it
up here.
at 50-some-odd thousand, and
Yeah, oh,
I hate to
yeah.
have to come back to something, geez, you know, we went through the bridge and
Yeah.
it's gonna cost us extra.
The school bus,
Yeah.
the New Hampshire school bus just stopped going over it last year.
Oh, yeah.
And the New Hampshire plow truck, which is a wheeler, fully loaded.
Yeah, 'cause they come
goes
out-
over every snowstorm.
Every snowstorm, you know, and,
Yeah,
and,
You
yeah,
never
I,
know, one of these days they may call,
I-
and
I-
be sitting in the,
I've been out there working on the side of the road and see a tractor trailer go by one day with a whole load of roofing on it, you know? And, so, but, yeah, it's a good idea, I believe.
good.
Well, I don't have the report, but I think that one that they gave us, I didn't bring that paperwork with me tonight. It was, I think, 3 tons was the state recommendation from New Hampshire. Was it New Hampshire or maybe Maine?
think it
It was an
was-
engineer, they had an engineer come
Yeah,
down.
and I think it was
And
3
what he did is
tons.
from what I gathered from, people that were there at the time when they were looking at that, is, yeah, they asked him, what can we do to assure this bridge doesn't go anywhere, and he said, post it. I don't believe there's any recommendation on weight, but they just said, post it. 3 ton, I mean, that, you're only talking,
Passenger car.
yes, my pickup truck weighs almost that, so, I mean, it may be a little, but, you know, it's a precautionary measure, you know, it might be a little overdone, but it's helping out right now, we hope.
The Hopper Road Bridge is a little sporty, too.
Yes, yeah, I've got the pictures and stuff of
Well,
that.
that's the
at
one
home.
over into Milton,
Milton
Milton
Mills, yeah,
Yeah.
Hopper Road. Yeah, that one there underneath it doesn't look all that great, and that's one reason why I posted that road.
Yeah, that's a stone bridge too, isn't it?
No,
No?
no, that's,
steel. Steel girders.
yeah, steel girders, well, it's
That wants to meet with our board.
concrete and all that.
Nope, I think we're
Yeah, we're
fine.
all set, yeah.
I'm sorry, Jonathan, names, excuse me.
See ya.
So, that's what I did last year, was it last year or a year before? I posted that because of, when I got the bridge report on that, it wasn't that great, and of course, with the traffic that was going over, you know, the dump trailers and this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's been kinda hard to, you know, police them, but, you know, you could sit out there all day long, but it is what it is.
They go through the bridge, they get a lot of
Made
explaining to
the
do.
attempt, and,
Well, you can, apparently is there any way to enforce these weight limits?
oh, you can, I mean,
It's hard.
well, it's not, someone tore the sign down, so that makes it a lot harder. But, you know, you could call in DOT and say, yeah, they're running the road. First thing I do is I call up the pit, I have connections at the pit, and say, I don't want the guy on the road, and then next thing you know, now they're running it empty because they think it's all right, and I gotta change the wording on the sign. I forgot the R for registered weight.
Oh,
And
there.
They think it's because when they're loaded, they can't go on it, they can go empty, so. There was a bunch of different variables of why I posted that. The bridge, the width of the bridge, the corner, and we were trying to preserve what we just done on San Page Road. And you can enforce it, it just, you hope that they're being, honest and not doing it. But, you know, I could make a phone call if I needed to, and they wouldn't do it again, you know, the first time they get a fine, but,
Do you have any idea how that would work on private roads? I've had that question asked.
on a private road, I mean, it's almost.
If you post a private road, are you able to enforce it as a road committee, do you know?
If you had a
Yeah.
road association, you could do it.
Because we put a sign up on 13th Street, and we got that from, what's his name, Pete Hamilton?
Yeah. If you
Augusta.
drive up through Blue Lake, all those road associations up there, they're posted, but you gotta have a road association to do it, just a regular private road. Problem is, if you don't have the road association, what happens is if you have one person on that road that wants to bring the loads in, you know, you can't stop them, because that, you know, unless you have a road association and a body, they're saying, no, you can't do this.
Okay. Well, the question was asked because if we do a lot of work on our road, we have an association, and then damage is done, do we have any recourse to have the owner, whoever, you know, brought nothing to do with what's going on now. We're talking after we fix it, Scott. But we've had a lot of traffic, and we're gonna put a
If
lot of
you-
money in the
you
road,
can't
and boy,
stop
that
them.
could be wrecked fast.
I mean, I guess you could to a certain point, but if you had an individual living on that road and they had to bring in cement mixes, this and that, you can't stop them from doing that. Now, if they cause damage to the road, I guess that in turns legal, that's when your road association would have to pursue that, I would say.
Yeah, because I think, because we looked into it, I had one of my roads look into that. It depends on the wording of it. Now, if you were to buy a camp down on the lake, or whatever, when they first, on this road, it was, if it was existing, same thing. You can't stop, but if somebody new were to move in, you need to make sure that their form, they read it and they sign it and be notarized and all this stuff saying that, you know, due to the cost of maintenance on this and association, we're a legal association with tax exempt, whatever numbers and everything, that there's a certain way you could do it. I did find out, but there's a lot of legwork and lawyers' fees and all that stuff, so, you know.
It would have to
It'd
be
a costly
considerable
adventure.
damage.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd be a costly adventure, because what would end up happening is if such and such person went down and did this damage, and they're gonna say, no, I'm not paying for that, you're gonna have to get a lawyer, the lawyer's gonna have to pursue it through your road association.
We had Thomas. He was logging, and we just talked to him. And he ended up, he cut a thing out right on 109 to bring the logs out that way instead of out on 13th Street, because we had just paved it, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just talk to people that say, hey, you know, can you hold this off until
Until it
the road
freezes.
dries out?
Yeah.
You know, the frost is up.
I mean, if you talk about, you know, especially on a throughway, on any private road, that's actually a throughway. Per se, there's a gravel pit in the middle of that private way or something, and then they're going through, like Lakeside Drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was asked
Something like
that.
that, you know, that would be one that I would think would be pretty much easy to maintain,
Yeah.
and put signs up and say, hey, this is.
Well, that was brought to my attention there, I think it was last year when I had posted San Page Road, and it all came to the meeting, and the question came to me was, well, okay, say if Scott decided to post H Road, well, we got the pits on the H Road, okay? Their concern was, well, are they gonna use Lakeside Drive as their new exit out? And could we post it? I told them, I said, well, first of all, we weren't saying they couldn't go in, it was just making it a throughway is what we were worried about. But I explained to them that what you'd have to do is do a road association, and then you would be able to post it. But, yeah, that could be very interesting.
Yeah, very gray, awful lot of gray areas, and
That was Peter White's question, by the way.
we've had a couple talks about that.
If you got one person, say on Lakeside Drive, that owns a pit in the middle of that, they're not gonna say, yeah, I don't wanna have this posted, because now you're stepping on my toes, so it'd be awful hard in some situations. On your road, it may not be that bad, but,
But I mean, then again, it's tough to put a condition on that, and okay, all right, you only can run 1 ton to do that whole job.
yeah.
You know, that's, You know, to do
Because-
something like that, it's like.
Yeah, because that poor homeowner is gonna see a huge increase in his cost. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But I think he was more concerned during the spring when everything is soft and the other roads are posted.
Well, you know,
Well, they gotta,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to be able to get to them anyway.
Yeah.
well, no,
And
see,
that's
that, and then, if you say now, if you're on that road and you're doing two houses and you're hauling material from one to another or something like that, that's where your
trucks in
road
there.
association has really gotta, you know, you
Enforce
can do
what's
that,
going on.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't have anything else.
When do you want to have another meeting?
Well, I guess,
Like late March, early April?
did Jen have I can't quite remember, did Jen have
Haven't
a
time
date
yet, right?
when that fellow might, no?
No, because the.
No,
board,
it
they
probably,
go to the selectmen tonight.
they're looking at the, she's
Okay,
looking at the
yeah.
end of February for them to try to settle things in the office here. And, because we won't start on this until spring thaw.
Or maybe when you do hear a little more about the bridge situation.
Yeah.
On Canal that.
Yeah.
Dave and I know,
Yeah.
maybe we can schedule a meeting to talk a little more information on that.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
an
something
update
that,
on that.
Yeah.
I don't know, if we get the blessing, which kind of sounds like we have from the selectmen or something like that, maybe they ought to go over to Wakefield and have a face-to-face with the selectmen over in Wakefield, say, hey, this is what we're, just let the higher-ups decide where they want to go, and who knows?
Yeah.
They may
Exactly.
have some, some
Exactly.
stuff already in the works that we're really not sure about.
Well, that last meeting that we went to,
One way in the
Yeah,
building now.
that's right, yeah.
that last meeting we went to, Pam Judge was gonna go that following
Yeah.
night to the selectmen to get their blessing
I-
to move forward.
We've met without
with it.
either town's blessing.
I met with them a
Yeah.
couple of years ago, and I met with the town manager and a couple other individuals at the time, and a couple selectmen. We went down and looked at the project, you know, we had some ideas of a temporary bandage, you know, just to, you know, make so we didn't have any more damage than we already have. And that went a little ways, and then between chain of command, you know, between changes and this and that, it all fell apart.
Oh, that's what I mean, you better off
Yeah.
let the selectmen of both
Exactly,
towns-
because
Yeah.
we could,
Because then it's face-to-face, and they understand what's going on, because then you get 2 or 3 parties involved in it.
yeah, the Wakefield selectmen are not actually involved in this
Yeah,
committee.
yeah.
They're merely, they were merely giving them their okay. Because it's really in the formula stage. I don't think you're gonna see anything for 3 years.
It's like the Historical Society over there.
Yep, the Historical Society, it can't be
Yeah, 'cause
torn
it's a
down.
historical
It's a
site.
historic site now, so it cannot be torn down. And it's got to be fixed, and gosh, I wouldn't dare touch it, quite frankly, because we got the deeds and it's owned by the states, when Acton has no ownership at all.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even fix a
No.
thing.
No, what we were talking about doing is, what it is there's a pothole that becomes an issue all the time, and
Yeah.
we wanna just put some pavement over it and fix the guardrails, because the guardrails right now aren't safe, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, who takes care of it? Do we take care of it? Do they take care of it?
Yeah.
And that was the meeting we
state.
had, and we really didn't come up with much of a conclusion, so that's why we haven't done anything, you know? I do plan on, up to the bridge, shimming that in there, because the water sits in there and it's a real hazard.
Well,
Other than that,
anybody have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
Anybody have anything else?
yeah, second, well, the only thing here is, we're just gonna play it by ear in probably middle or the end of February.
After we hear from
Yeah.
the selectmen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we're
after
gonna
they
go
do their
over
thing.
when's that next meeting? The end of February? Over at AWA?
Yeah, that's
So
February
we
28th.
may have some information at the end of
Well, I guess
February.
then-
But prior to that, hopefully, if the selectmen are on board and whomever wants to, this should be a very open thing. Hopefully, the town of Acton will have a meeting prior to this next one with the other group, so that anything coming out of here is, you know, we're all on the same page, and,
I don't think we got anything really urgent that we have
Dick.
to worry about right now, do we? So,
Hey,
I mean,
Dick.
I guess after you guys if you go to that meeting there, if you wanna give us an update, we have a meeting afterwards so we can go over
That's the
it.
list of.
okay.
roads to lynch.
And we have the notes on,
Do you have the list of,
No, we'll get it from
yeah.
the- Okay.
I forgot what I was saying.
I'm sorry,
It's okay. It's a senior moment.
you'll remember it.
Yeah, like 1, 2, 3. Nope, I'm sure it'll, well, if you guys don't have anything for us, let us know.
Yep.
And we'll certainly help you in any way we can. And,
Just wanna say thank you.
Yep, appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. So I guess we're adjourned.